WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2009 is a professional wrestling video game developed by Yuke and published by THQ for the PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2, PlayStation Portable, Nintendo DS, Wii, and Xbox 360 video game consoles. It is the 10th video game in the WWE SmackDown vs. Raw series, and is the sequel to its 2007's predecessor, WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2008, and is succeeded by 2009's WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2010. TOSE oversaw development for the Nintendo DS version. The game was released on November 9, 2008 in North America. The video game is based on the professional wrestling promotion, World Wrestling Entertainment, and is named after the promotion's two brands, Raw and SmackDown. The game introduced a few key new features including the Inferno match, a revamped tag team match, and 4 new game modes: Creative Finisher, Road to WrestleMania, Career and Multiplayer Season. Road to WrestleMania. The Road to WrestleMania mode debuted in this game, replacing the popular season mode from previous games. It was then featured in every new game in the series as well as WWE 12, before it was removed for WWE 13. This mode allowed the player to play through personalized storylines for John Cena, Triple H, The Undertaker, Chris Jericho, CM Punk, and a tag team storyline for Batista and Rey Mysterio. Gameplay Match Gameplay One of the game's most prominent features is the enhanced tag team match. Additions in the match include new ways of tagging the player's tag team partner, such as the hot tag, which can help save the player in the match if they are in trouble, and the forced blind tag, where the illegal partner can tag his or herself into the ring. The legal player's tag team partner has more of a part to play in this match and will aid the player by holding an opponent on the ropes while on the apron, and pulling down the ropes for an opponent who is dashing towards them, sending them out of the ring. Teams will now share their own momentum meter, attributes and double-team finishers. SmackDown vs. Raw 2009 is the first WWE video game to include the Inferno match, a match where the player has to set their opponent on fire. It is similar to the real-life match, which takes place with the ring surrounded by fire coming from gas-fed pipes. To win, the player must increase the temperature of the ring by performing more devastating moves. As soon as the temperature reaches 500 degrees Fahrenheit, the player can then begin to set their opponent on fire. To set a person on fire, you raise the temperature to max temp and drag the person towards the ropes, provided that the opponent is badly injured. However, this match is not available for the Nintendo DS or Wii. Several matches absent in previous games also return to the series. The Backstage Brawl, where players can battle in either the locker room or the backstage gorilla position with a variety of weapons at their disposal, returned and replaced the Parking Lot Brawl match featured in the last game. The Gauntlet match also is a newly featured match selection in the SmackDown vs. Raw 2009 series, where one superstar takes on 3 others, one immediately after the other. Unlike the other WWE games, General Manager mode, Create a Championship, and Create a PPV were removed from the SmackDown vs. Raw 2009 version. Both the Wii and DS versions now include new match types, such as the Steel Cage and Ladder match, with the DS version in addition also featuring tables and TLC matches. Fighting styles, a major feature from the previous version, were removed. However, the fighting abilities used there were kept and enhanced, with each wrestler possessing 6 out of 20 different abilities that would aid the player in specific areas. New to the game is the inclusion of signature moves secondary in importance next to their finishing moves. When in full momentum, the players can choose to store a signature move instead of performing a finishing move which they can perform later. A new semi-auto targeting system was implemented into the game, which will generally automatically target a particular wrestler the player wants to attack, but can also be controlled in-game by the player. Japanese company TOSE took over from Amaze Entertainment in development for the Nintendo DS version. Unlike the previous year's game, whose gameplay was focused exclusively on the handheld stylus, this year's edition instead uses by default the D-pad for movement and the left shoulder button for finishing moves. The DS version's gameplay is now similar to that from the other consoles, with full movement control around the ring for the wrestler and a stamina meter to build up for a finishing move. Grappling, attacks and submissions would still be controlled by the stylus. Game modes Road to WrestleMania. In this new mode, players can choose from 5 superstars to players in single-player storylines: Triple H, CM Punk, The Undertaker, John Cena, or Chris Jericho. The storylines featured in the mode are tailor-made to fit the chosen wrestler's character, with each scene made exclusively for the wrestler. As part of the game's new emphasis on tag teams, a cooperative storyline was also included in the mode, in which players can take the parts of Rey Mysterio or Dave Bautista. For the first time, the Wii version will also include the Road to WrestleMania mode, replacing their equivalent main event mode in the previous edition. Career mode. Unlike the Road to WrestleMania mode, all superstars and divas featured in the game are eligible to play, including wrestlers created by the player in Create a Superstar mode. The main aim of this mode is for the player to fight their way up the rankings for a particular title of their choice, in match types that they can also choose. After each match, the player's character is awarded attribute points based on the style of wrestling the player used. Nintendo DS, fully inspired by the TOSE developed game, Dragon Quest Heroes, Rocket Slime. The Nintendo DS version has an RPG element to their season mode. Players will be able to roam around the arena, improve their characters through the training room or WWE shop, and interact with superstars to start feuds. The player is given missions to complete in order to become a champion. Created wrestlers will be eligible to use this career mode. Create modes The series features a new Create mode, the Create a Finisher feature. In it, the player has the ability to chain a selection of up to 10 out of over 500 animations to make unique finishing moves, along with the choice to speed up or slow down the animations. Created finishes are limited to moves starting with both wrestlers standing face-to-face. The Create a Finisher feature is not available on the Wii or DS versions of the game. The other major new addition to the game's Create modes is the Highlight Reel, where players can record the last 30 seconds of an ongoing match, and edit the clips together afterwards with custom camera angles and added visual and sound effects. Players can save up to 20 files and can upload them for online users to see. Custom reels can be used as an entrance movie for a created superstar. The mode is featured only on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. Both Create a Finisher and Highlight Reel have replaced the Create a Belt feature, which was taken out due to its lack of support from fans. The Create a Superstar mode is in the major consoles, but now features physics-based clothing items that will sway around realistically, such as loose clothing and necklaces. About 70% of the parts in the mode are now 3D, with about 25 to 30% of the mode featuring new content. For the first time, the Nintendo DS version features a limited version of the Create a Superstar mode. A roster editor has also been introduced to change the wrestler's brand, face heel disposition and titles for exhibition matches. The game's Create a Stable mode has also been incorporated into the editor under the team management name. The Create an Entrance mode has now been extended to feature created entrances for tag teams. The Wii version features a Create an Entrance mode like the other versions, except a limited created entrance for tag teams. Instead, utilizing the Wii Remote and Yuke, it features interactive entrances and victory celebrations, such as posing or beating down an opponent post-match. Successful poses during the player's entrance give them more momentum and bonuses at the start of the match. Online features The Wii version now includes online gameplay as well as rankings. Voice chat functionality for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 versions were confirmed. Also note that if a tattoo is used on your created superstar, he/she will be prohibited from playing online. However, online play is not available for the PlayStation 2 version. After complaints about outdated rosters in the previous games, THQ stated that the game will provide downloadable content to keep the game as up to date as possible with new wrestlers and alternate attires. Development. The in-game commentary and the major console versions feature 3 announcing teams like the previous version but is considered to have a more play-by-play aspect this time. According to THQ, loading times for the game have been reduced by 50%, affecting such areas as wrestler entrances. Soundtrack. Like the previous games in the series, the soundtrack consists of a mixture of entrance theme songs used by the wrestlers and the following licensed songs. Also, some wrestlers' entrance theme songs can be played in the game's menus. You can also give any wrestler their own entrance music from any audio file saved on your console's hard drive, although this feature is restricted to the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 versions of the game, as the PlayStation 2 has no capability to save MP3s or other format sound files, and this is not the first game to include the feature on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, as the previous game, WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2008 was the first game for both systems to allow the feature. POD contributed with 2 of their songs, Addicted, and Bawayaka 619, featured in the game's soundtrack. Roster: prominent wrestlers of the series like The Undertaker, Edge, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Kane, Matt Hardy, Randy Orton, John Cena, Batista and Rey Mysterio are included in the game. The game features new additions on the roster including Jesse, Festus, Kofi Kingston, Beth Phoenix, Layla, Maria Kanellis, The Miz, Santino Marella, Zack Ryder, and Brian Kendrick, as well as the first appearance of John Hennigan as John Morrison. This is also Kurt Hawkins' only appearance as a playable superstar. This game also features the first appearance of Chris Jericho since the 2006 installment and Big Show since the 2007 installment. The game marks the last appearance of Elijah Burke, Charlie Haas, Super Crazy, Snitsky, Victoria, The Boogeyman, Lance Cade, Trevor Murdoch, Paul London, Ashley, Jillian Hall, Candice Michelle and Big Daddy V. Evan Bourne, Ted DiBiase, Charlie Haas and Super Crazy appear in the game as downloadable contents on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 versions. It is the only WWE SmackDown game not to feature The Rock and is the second and last game not to feature Stone Cold Steve Austin, the first game being WWE SmackDown vs. Raw. It is also the only WWE game where the Rock Bottom, People's Elbow, and Stone Cold Stunner are not referred to as such. They are instead called the People's Bottom, SmackDown Elbow, and Fasalock Jawbreaker, respectively.